Jennifer, I know your heart was in the right place, but you set him up for failure. She goes, you guys probably have a lot of questions. So fucking load up the guns and start firing. Because you didn't say anything about being appropriate. You just go, hey, open the cage and feast on the fucking freak. And they did. And they were just like, what's your birthday? And he was like, September 12th. And some kid goes, 1902. Boom.
Hey, it's Herbert. And you're listening to the About Last Night podcast, you slippery little son of a bitch.
About last night.
Hey guys, Adam Ray here for the About Last Night podcast. Welcome back to the show. We've got a banger of an episode today, but before we get into it, tour dates. Oh my goodness. This weekend, Thursday through Saturday, January 26th through the 28th, I am in Baltimore, Maryland at Magooby's Comedy Club, Magooby's Joke House, rather. Come out and see your boy January 26th to the 28th. Tickets at adamraycomedy.com. February 16th through the 18th, I'm in Batavia, Illinois at the Comedy Vault. Batavia, Illinois, bring your family, bring your lovers, bring your exes, bring your enemies. February 16th through the 18th in Batavia, Illinois at the Comedy Vault. And then, of course, March 1st through the 4th, I'm back in San Fran at one of my favorite clubs on planet Earth, The Punchline, San Francisco, California, March 1st through the 4th. And then March 9th through the 11th, Oxnard, California, Levity Live. Let's do it, baby. Haven't been here in quite some time, so come out, bring your friends. Bring everybody. I don't fucking know. March 9th through the 11th, Oxnard, Levity Live. All these tickets at adamraycomedy.com. And then we got Chicago, San Diego, Seattle, Portland. I got some shows with the Impractical Jokers on April 7th and 8th in Seattle and Portland. All that info, adamraycomedy.com. That's where you can get your merch. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at adamraycomedy. Of course, Young Rock every Friday, NBC. Welcome to Chippendales, Hulu. And some exciting announcements are on the horizon, so I can't wait to share the good news. Today's episode is a special episode. It's an About Last Night Spoil the Beans crossover. You know it, you love it. We haven't done one for quite some time. I went down to Austin, Texas to do a couple podcasts, this being one of them with Deric Poston, Sam Lopez, Ehsan Ahmad, Tony Casillas, and myself, live from the Drinking Bros Studios in Austin, Texas. We do our ALN Spoil the Beans movie review crossover episode of the Disney classic Jack, starring Robin Williams, Jennifer Lopez, Fran Drescher, and Diane Lane. Holy shit, this movie's bonkers. We laughed, we smoked, we drank, and I think we crushed it. So enjoy the hell out of this episode. Follow everybody on Instagram and Twitter. We'll put up their handles in the episode, and enjoy the shit out of this one. And come see me on the road. I love you guys. Enjoy the episode. Guys, welcome back to another Spoil the Beans About Last Night crossover episode. It's been a couple years, but we're back in the groove. Stella got her groove back, and she brought it to Austin.
Stella did get her groove back.
I'm here with the crew. We got the OGs, Deric Poston, Sam Lopez, newly engaged.
Hey, come on,
huh?
Come on.
Love is in the air.
Love is in the air.
And so the last one we did was I think Sandlot? No, Santa Claus.
Was it Santa Claus or Sandlot?
I think it was Santa Claus. Last time we did it here in Austin at the Drinking Bros Studios.
Yeah, with our boy Dan, right?
With our boy Dan. Shout out to Dan.
Shout out to him,
We
man.
missed you, Dan Holloway.
God.
You'll be back. Dan, of course, is famous for his ending of the Santa Claus Spoil the Beans ALN crossover episode by suggesting that Tim Allen drove himself and his son in the Santa sleigh into the World Trade Center in 9/11. Not my words; those are Dan's. Look up the episode if you don't believe me.
That's the first Muslim Christmas movie of all time.
Yeah. And to my right, two newcomers to the show, Tony and Ehsan. Guys.
Yeah.
Hey.
Recently engaged, recently broke up.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
You want to tell the story, or
Couldn't make my butt come.
which is actually the slogan or the log line for Jack. Couldn't make my butt come. So what a great segue, Tony. You're fitting in perfectly. We're breaking down another Disney classic. As you know, that's what we do here. We find the Disney movies that that tugged at your heartstrings and couldn't make your butt come. And no better film than I don't know what do we know what the tagline is? Usually we break it down off the poster.
We usually do, but this one I don't even know, because we were arguing about this earlier. I don't even know the genre of this.
So the movie
I don't
is
even
Jack.
know what this genre is.
Where do you put it? The movie is Jack. It stars Robin Williams, but you got a rotating cast of legends like Fran Drescher, Diane Lane, J-Lo. I think in her first role, ever. She looked like she was still fly growing.
She does.
Yeah.
She looks like it might be her first big role. It might be.
You also have like an Oscar award-winning director, Francis Ford Coppola.
Oh yeah,
Like amazing.
that blew me away.
Like that was like wow. Like in another universe, this movie won all the Oscars.
Yeah.
In another universe, Bill Cosby has an Oscar.
Wow,
And is not a criminal.
the way he fell out of that treehouse was very believable.
Come on. I believe him. The way you know what's crazy? The acting was phenomenal.
From top to bottom.
It was actually fucking phenomenal.
Everyone but the dad. The dad
phoned it
sucked.
in.
He made no choice. He literally made no choices.
Well, let's be honest. I don't know if this guy was acting or just trying to fuck Diane Lane in every possible moment that he was on screen. He's like, I know you're sleeping in a box because, and I'm getting ahead of myself, sleeping in a box because you miss your son because he's picking friends over you, but hey, this box is the perfect size for me to make your butt come. I mean, that guy was all over the place.
Yeah, he would be like, I know it's hard that our son is going to die in 10 years, but hey, you know what else is hard? My cock.
Brian Kerwin, and his name's Brian Kerwin. I don't know what he's done or where he's coming to us from, but he looked like a guy I'd probably seen in some other things.
He had that face, but
He had
man.
that face. The carrot scene.
The carrot scene. All right, well, let's
start from the top.
I don't know, first of all, like you said, D, where you would put this film, but I did, in looking up the next movie to break down, Jack popped up, and I got to be honest, I was taken aback. I was like, no way. Disney pulled this off? Because I remember it being, just the subject matter kind of heavy, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's very silly, like, because it's
If
Robin
you take
Williams.
the music out of it, it's
talked
the
about this.
scariest movie you've ever fucking seen.
Yeah, it's a lot. If you take the music out, it's a lot of the characters just sitting around, really contemplating like Jack his life or other people Jack's life and like what that really means. And it's just, but the music band is like, and you're like, what the fuck?
What is death?
Well, it opens, first of all, with this super long conga costume party.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Why?
I kept
Exactly.
thinking, how much of their budget did they blow on these costumes?
Oh, yeah.
The costumes
Yeah.
were amazing. That was one of the best
Costumes.
Frankenstein costumes I've ever seen in my entire life.
That was a great shot. So Diane Lane is happily conging with her husband. We don't know his, we'll just call them by their real names. But so Brian Kerwin and Diane Lane, the parents of Jack,
Right.
about to be, are conging through the line, having a great time. And, it also took me back to being like, wow, remember when, obviously, I don't think we're in the conga stage of life, but there are probably parents out there that are doing that, right?
Stop
And now I just want to poll the audience. If you're at a party, a wedding, whatever, and a conga starts, are you in or you out?
Oh, I'm in.
You're in.
I'm in.
You're in.
Yeah.
I think it says a lot about who you are if you deny the conga.
You gotta do
It
the
does say a
conga.
lot about who you are as a
Right?
person.
Well,
You're going to deny
no, but-
this train of fun? A train of
No.
fun. You saw 30 people have fun, and you didn't.
You go, I'm good. I'm good. I got a ticket to hell, baby. I'm going through a divorce. Like, all right, well, that's a pretty good reason, Gary.
Well, I get the costume party though, but it has a lot of foreshadowing. Like when her water breaks, she's standing next to Frankenstein's monster, and the first line the kid says is, "Oh, I heard he's like a monster, like Frankenstein."
Yo, Francis Ford Coppola
And
thought, oh,
she's
man.
wearing the red
There's so much
slippers
happening
from.
in that scene.
They're wearing a what is it? What's the movie?
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz. So it's a new world. It's a fantasy world they're going into.
Great point.
That is Francis Ford. That's why I'm saying in another universe, if Disney didn't produce this would have won all the Oscars.
Do you think Disney pitched it to Coppola, or do you think Coppola was like, and I don't know what he sounds like, so bear with me on the impression. I want to do a movie about a kid who grows too fast. Who's going to star in it? Brian Kerwin. and he's going to constantly try to bang Lane. Now, Coppola, I think, crushed it. I don't know if Spielberg was in line. I feel like this is like what did Coppola do prior to this, after this? Where does it fall in his line of of classics, but like I don't know, but I'd put it up there.
The great question is what you said, Adam. That might be the greatest question of life. Did Francis Ford Coppola come to them with this? Or did they come to him?
And why did they go to him? And who? Someone must have known him and just thought he'd love this. And they're like,
I know Francis.
Are we talking about the same Coppola?
Yeah, you see, that's what person. We're talking about Coppola, and he says, no, you're thinking about Coppola. I know Francis. Francis
Ford, maybe.
Francis would want to make
Holy
Jack.
shit. So right before this, he made the movie Dracula.
Oh my God.
So he made Dracula, and then afterwards he made The Rainmaker. So this was... I bet you this was just like, hey, I'm going to make one for a big studio, get a payday. So I know a lot of directors did that back in the day.
This is an interesting payday. Something artistic about it for this to be a payday.
Yeah, because like you could tell there's moments where like he was Coppola and like, oh, this is like there's innovative shots of this kid in the playground. You know what I mean? Like just unbelievable shots. And then you could tell some parts was like it was like watching a bear in a cage. You know what I mean? Where it's like you can see what the bear can kind of do, but he's not in his habitat, so you don't see it at full range.
Well, Disney does have a formula, I think, with the way they shoot the things, the way they cast. Like, just to go back to the cast, all the kids were pretty great. Even some of the bully kids were good.
Oh yeah, they all worked. All those
great.
kids were working at that time too.
Yeah.
Every kid you see was in Mighty Ducks, Little Giants. They're all.
That's what you want.
Rascals.
So the conga line is getting a little spicy, and she all of a sudden
There's two girls making fun of her for being fat for no reason.
Yep.
I wanted to bring that up.
I caught that.
What was that about?
Who's
she wasn't even fat.
Yeah, they were seeing a pregnant woman, and it was our first taste, I guess, of being like, hey, by the way, if you start packing on the pounds, doesn't matter where you are in your social status amongst these conga costume parties, you're gonna get called out for your chub. Yeah, like you got it. Like no one's off limits. And Diane Lane seems like she's probably pretty popular at that party, but they were just, and that's probably why those girls were so.
There's definitely jealousy involved in that. But I think it was the way of like the movie saying like, look, she doesn't look fat enough to be pregnant. You know, people
That was him trying to,
right?
Yeah.
Like,
but it's an interesting way to say that. It's like, hey, have them shit on her.
But she was also
fat
only.
bitch, it's weird.
She was also only 2 months pregnant. So when you're 2 months pregnant, you're not that fat.
Totally.
Yeah, she wasn't fat.
She wasn't fat.
She was
at all.
Diane Lane. She was hot.
She was hot.
She was just hot the whole time.
Finally
what were they-
understood what you see in her.
Yeah, Diane Lane was my celebrity.
You know what's
crush, so
crazy?
Was it really?
This was a big movie for me.
Wow. Had you ever seen this?
I was like, mommy, no, mommy.
Had you ever seen Jack?
Yeah, I had seen Jack before.
But did you remember Diane Lane was in it?
No. I did it with him a couple years ago, and now it's like I was like, oh yes, I get to watch Diane Lane again. It's been a while.
Do you love her in what is that movie with Costner where she's the mom, the single mom?
I don't. To be fair, I still don't know many of her movies. I just remember there was a movie where her tits were out once, and that was great.
What movie was that?
Yeah, I
The
wanna
movie
see
where
that.
she's like cheater. She's like with Richard Gere, and she's cheating on him.
Oh,
Always
yeah.
Richard Gere could always get the titties out.
You're right. He can.
That was
He
a guy.
Really can.
The amount of girls' first films where they took their tops off probably all starred Richard Gere, right? Like it's just like it was almost like a rite of passage, and it wasn't even like he asked. They just were like, "Yo, you're just the shit. Like, do you want to look at him?" And he was like, "I mean, I'm not gonna say no."
So on the website Boobapedia, you see her tits in the movie in the 2003 film Under the Tuscan Sun. Yeah, and then they show the
No,
picture.
Unfaithful.
Unfaithful. That's
Unfaithful.
Oh, great!
Oh,
movie.
she's showing her titties out here.
Yeah,
She really showing them.
yeah.
Well,
She looks like she has good titties.
Good for you, Diane.
yeah, she's had a
And yes, she does.
she's had a full
Oh,
career.
Unfaithful. Yeah, you're right. You're right, too.
Well, she was
had a fool.
I don't know what I'm saying.
Dude, her tits.
the weed's kicking in.
Her tits were so good, she won an Academy Award in Unfaithful.
Wow.
Oh, those are some.
That's top tier.
That's great.
That means your tits are artsy. You have artsy tits.
Yeah, they don't give that
Can you
to
imagine the
everybody.
same way that like Eddie Murphy, they say lost the Oscar for Dreamgirls because he came out with Norbit? What if Diane Lane crushed it, but they go, she's got weird tits. You're not giving her the statue this year. Look at those things. Are those pepperonis or rat skulls? You're like, Jesus, man, those are two very different examples. So
Listen to that guy because there's like 7 Oscars behind him. He knows what he's talking about.
Like, dude, he does know what tits win. And he can make your butt come. Now, all right. So now we got a juice box driving Lane to the hospital. That was funny. That was the first being like, what a silly choice.
It's silly. You know, you can tell there were choices where he was like, I have to remind people that this is silly.
This is a funny, like kids, like the car was silly. It was like almost a
Was it a
Mr.
juice?
Bean
I
esque
thought it
car.
was a cigarette.
A cigarette.
Cigarette.
Thank you.
It was a
I
cigarette.
even
Because then
wrote
he
that down.
smokes a cigarette and he
Yes.
goes, no smoking.
Yep.
And
the hospital situation,
Thank
they
you.
made very light, which is the next scene. They made very light of the hospital
dude,
situation,
yeah.
which to me was the craziest part of the movie.
Oh, that was fucking the pregnancy stuff was so intense. Right out of the gate, you almost have to double check if you're taking your kid to the theater. Like, this was Disney, right?
What
Rob
is
Williams
happening?
is in this because this is now a very intense. I'm having a baby.
And she's begging
7
everyone.
months early?
She was like, please, everyone, listen to me. This shouldn't be happening. And everyone was like, shut up, bitch.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Open them legs and squeeze out that life. Yeah.
Well, they were like, oh, it's not happening, just showing no concern. And when the baby come out, they're like, ooh, a baby, I guess. It was like
A full-grown baby.
A full-grown baby, like a huge baby.
How the fuck was that
Baby
baby
was
that
massive.
size?
Yeah.
Nobody reacted, bro.
The doctor.
Midichlorians.
The doctor was a great doctor for. I always assess those castings. It wasn't some young. It was like an older doctor who'd seen it all, but was like kind of. That's why in those scenes that got really heavy, he delivered. But
Brought an Asian guy in to help him out, break the news.
That's right.
That's key. That's very doctor.
that was key. That was even Disney
Doctor.
diversity at that stage in full force.
So I just looked up. So Disney planned this movie with Robin Williams in mind. And Robin said, I'll only do the movie if I can pick the director. And him and Francis Ford were friends and wanted to work on a project together. So Williams picked Francis Ford Coppola.
Oh, wow. that
Guys,
makes sense.
Tony Casillas coming in
my
hot with
Because
the
that's
fact
my thing.
of the moment.
That was my thing watching the movie was like, this seems like a movie that Disney would pick like a no-name, but a guy that makes a lot of movies, but kind of just has kind of like that
Sure, dude.
weird.
The
just-
Chris Columbus of Disney kid movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, this really truly was one choice away from being part of the Air Bud universe. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it was
yeah.
really like this close.
Well,
But,
also-
then while watching it, there were like some real artistic shots, and there were like some real artistic moments. Like the pregnancy scene was intense. If it was played off as a drama, it would have been intense.
Oh, yeah.
But then the doctor comes in and goes, "Come on, let's get the thing out." And
Yeah.
you're just like, She's 2 months pregnant.
And she's begging. And she's begging for someone to please listen to her.
She's like, "It's
If they had
too
done
early. My baby might die." And
Yeah, she's saying
That was very real. If they had done a slow zoom or like had a shot of just her eyes in fear, then I would have been like, oof, like, I don't know if I can finish this. Because that's really heightening the level of severity.
That's what I mean. If you really watch how Diane Lane acts this, that's what makes it scary. It's like really real. It's really intense. And a lot of those scenes where you're like, man, I don't know if I can handle this. You can handle it because the music behind it is so insanely Disney that you're not really truly like.
It was insane. And then as soon as the baby comes out, adorable little baby. And then it's just like opening credit sequence.
90s style.
90s
too
Bryan
long.
Adams, where you're a baby, baby coming early today. I wasn't supposed to be here, but here I am, I'm a baby.
yeah, but that was also like a nightmare sequence for the baby.
Yeah.
Robots are grabbing its arm.
Oh,
There's
it's
like a
test
robot.
after test after test. Yeah,
That's the
intense.
first thing the baby sees is like a robot
An
face
evil
coming
robot
towards
face?
him. That's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Like that Jack had no chance. Even if he was a normal kid, he would like not trust technology.
Yeah, can you imagine? I mean, that was, and I think that was their way of trying to show us like this kid's going to be a little different. And this is them already understanding and just getting a sense that like we got to do this test and this test. Like what test did you? Like when they were doing the claw thing, I expected it to just pull out and be like a claw in a claw machine, and the baby somehow got in there, and that was like a fun little gag. And so the claw was like picking up the baby and take. All right, but
They could have, but they didn't.
They didn't. They made it. They made it real.
They made it.
What
really
tests were
fucking
they
real.
doing? That's my question. What test do you think they were doing on Jack to be like, he's out too early? What are we looking for?
That's the other thing. I think they didn't know. I think they were like, just put machines on it. Machines might know.
Hook him up to wires.
And this feels like a more than a 2-doctor operation. If I'm being honest, there should be like specialists in like.
You know what I thought? How the fuck? Because in reality,
There
let's
should be
say
press everywhere.
No, bro, not only press. In reality, so they find out there's this baby boy and it's like gonna grow faster and all that. Bro, they would have militarized that baby.
Yeah.
So the military would have came in and been like, "Oh, this is a weapon."
Yeah.
They accidentally put Captain America's super serum in her belly.
So then the doc comes in and goes, look, he's got this aging syndrome. We've never seen it.
Yeah.
There's like other syndromes down and I don't know. How many syndromes are there? There's probably quite a few.
He named like 3.
He named
He
three,
named
but
three.
he's like, dude, we have not even touched this one. Your baby's about to be old as fuck. Like, soak it up. And And yeah, they said at age 1, this was a key stat, that you're physically going to be age 4. By the time he's 10, he could be 40, a 40-year-old man. That's a lot of info, but that basically just sets the stage where it's like, this is going to be a movie where, man, the kid's trying to fit in and trying to, like, fit it all in as far as life goes.
Right. Yeah, and he has to learn that. And we watch him learn that, which is the craziest thing.
I did have this note for the beginning, going back to the cigarette real quick, because I had to write it down. The cigarette, when he's running through the hallway, takes one of the worst pratfalls I've ever seen in my life.
The cigarette does?
Yeah, the cigarette. It's like he gets on his knees and then sort of flops over. Like, if you watch the opening again, watch the pratfall that the cigarette takes. It is awful.
Francis said we're not doing that take again.
Yeah.
You think that guy suggested it? Francis, I think it'd be really funny if I fell down when I walked in. I'm in this cigarette costume.
Maybe it's like anti-smoking movie, because in the later scene when the nanny smokes a
Fran
cigarette,
Drescher.
he breaks it.
Yeah.
So maybe
Bad
he's
for
like,
you.
we're gonna make the cigarette a fool. He's gonna fall down, not for a laugh, because he's fucking stupid.
That feels Francis.
Because smoking killed me, and it's gonna kill this fucking movie. Yeah, it's like he's anti-smoking.
You'll have to pry Final Cut out of my cold blooded hands. So then, so now Jack, we cut to, I think it was 10 years later.
Yep.
And he's a 40-year-old man.
Yep.
And he's Robin Williams from Patch Adams. And he's trying to fucking figure it out. He's dressed like a kid. He's got, and you already know going in, by the way, because this is Robin Williams. The movie came out when again? Do we
96.
know? 96. So Doubtfire was 93. I know that because I just remember that year I went to it shortly after my folks split. And I remember my friend's dad took us for my buddy's birthday. And I was like, this is like 2 weeks after my folks split. I was like, and there was heavy divorce themes in Doubtfire. The opening scene, Sally Field's like, get the fuck out! You brought a fucking petting zoo into the living room. And I'm like, I feel like I saw this exact fight 48 hours ago.
Yeah.
This is like bringing an
so
Iraqi
intense
vet
for you.
to Afghanistan a week after he got home. It was just too much, right? So Williams. So we got Doubtfire in the can. I'm sure 94. I think Flubber probably shortly after that, which wasn't critically beloved, but
Good Will Hunting was 94.
Good Will Hunting was right. Oh man, so everyone's going to see Jack, and so you just know. Oh, now that I understand the story, Robin Williams he's the only guy I would, I think, watch do this movie. Like, I don't think Ethan Hawke was up for this.
No one.
Yeah,
No one could have pulled it
No,
off.
we talked about this. No one could have pulled this off. Think about what you have to be like. Hey, I want you to be a kid, but don't be retarded. He's like, what do you mean? You can't. He's not, because you watch it. He's not retarded.
No,
he's
a kid.
I genuinely believe he's 10 years old.
That line is fucking razor thin.
Dude, the scene when he first goes to the school and he's standing there in front of the classroom. As a kid that moved around a lot, and you're standing up in front of the classroom.
Whoa, is that? You tapped into that, yeah.
But it's like that. It's like when you're 10 and you're just like a little nervous.
Yeah.
And he played it off perfectly. In his eye, you're like, that's just a kid.
It was in his eyes.
Yeah, he's got a warmth to his pupils that, like, I
Innocence,
think an innocence. Great way to say it. I think that everybody loves about Robin Williams, because it's like, the Riddler that Jim Carrey played, they offered that to Robin Williams in Batman Forever. Ooh. And so that's why it always stuck out to me, because I was like, oh, for sure that wasn't the only thing they were always like, it was like, should we get him or should we get him? Like, like I look at Liar Liar, I go, I can only see Jim Carrey doing that.
Yeah.
Only.
So I feel like the same thing with Robin on this one. Right out of the gate, the kids, once they go over there, they're like, that's where the freak lives, right? They keep calling him the freak, the fucking whatever.
But you know what's funny? They're not so mean where you're like, oh, these kids are mean. They're not.
They're curious.
It's like the Sandlot with the dog.
Yeah, you're right.
It's not like it's just like, bro, I heard it's something weird in there. I heard it's a freak. I heard it's a monster.
And by the way, they're not wrong to think that.
No, not
They're
in any
kids
way.
being like, there's one of us who's fucking 40, dude. Can you even wrap your head around that?
No.
You shouldn't have a filter.
Yo, so not only is there a kid who's fucking 40, he lives down the block from me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm over there.
And
I'm over there and I'm looking in the window.
know what's up.
Trying to catch a glimpse.
I gotta catch a glimpse.
And then Robin, just in classic, like, oh, you fucking, like, he's already scared. He doesn't want to go outside. He's found his routine indoors with mom and dad, playing make-believe and whatnot. But, yeah, he's also curious. That's why he's always looking out the window, because he knows those kids are coming. He hears them. And then what does he do? What does he throw at them?
Fucking eyeball.
Slimed
up, though.
Slimed up eyeball that one of the kids thinks. I mean, it's like so Disney that, like, you put yourself in that position. You don't know. You're like, obviously it's fake, but it's like, as a kid, how do you know he didn't throw a real eyeball out? You know nothing about this guy other than he's 40 and he's 10.
And he might be a monster.
And he might be.
That's what makes that moment real. And that's what makes Louis like him, because, bro, Louis holds it and he screams and all that. But, bro, when he went to bed that night, he was like, man, that's cool. He fucking threw that was cool. He threw that shit. He didn't have to do that.
He yes-and the group.
He played
said,
in.
"You're a monster," and he goes, "I'll give you monster.
I'll give you a fucking monster."
He's a monster.
Right. Instead of being like, I'm actually not that bad. Looking out the window and be like, come on, like that's crazier.
Adam, that's so true, because if he says that, say, go ahead, say it to me. Say, he's actually not that bad.
He's actually not that bad.
I fucking hate this guy now. Like that, because it would be like, oh man, like, if he said like, hey guys, I'm actually not that bad, it'd be like, I don't.
Yeah.
He's lame now.
Yeah.
Right.
He's also.
But that's also not how a 10-year-old would react.
No.
It's how a 40-year-old would react.
They're throwing sticks and stones. So they're spying on him, throws the eyeball, and now we're cutting to Cosby.
Yeah, this is the first.
That's the first thing you see.
This is the first Cosby thing.
The first intro of Cosby. And man, the guy was great. Ghost Dad, Cosby. I mean, like, Cosby was great in movies.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
So that just right out of the gate, you go, God, fuck, man.
That is
you
the
fucked
first.
it up.
The first feeling I told, because right when he was watching, we were quiet. We're watching the first scene, and I was like, wow, I have so many emotions.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of emotions. That first time you're watching him, you're like, whoa.
Well, what's also crazy is when you see him, you're like, oh, he's gonna be a good whatever, like father figure type guy to this kid. Like you already could tell, like
Totally.
he's gonna fucking kill it.
And then he was like, helping him study and tutoring him, and then he's getting sleepy, and I was like, well, fuck it.
He's crying because he hurt his leg, and he's like, I guess we're going to have to get your dad's saw and cut it off.
Yeah.
He goes, no, come on. And he's making him laugh, and you're like, this is a great dude.
He was genuinely being funny, too.
I will say that scene where he's like massaging his leg when he falls down. That to me was the one that was the most deeply uncomfortable.
Yeah,
it was deeply, because it's like with the painting of everything around him. At the very beginning, Robin falls down.
His shoes are
And
untied.
he pulls his underwear, right?
Yeah, he pulls his underwear.
He rips Bill Cosby's underwear.
There's a lot of weird stuff happening.
A lot of
in
them
the
just
scene.
already sexual, and it's just it's not. It's just
touching
because
him
what we
a
know.
lot.
Yeah, Bill Cosby's
Like,
rubbing his leg.
Rubbing his leg and like up it.
You think Francis was like, hey, get a little more touchy-feely? Or you think Bill was like, I think it'd be funny if I rubbed his butt?
What if Francis made Bill Cosby the monster he is today? Because Francis worked with method actors.
Spark up another, Jay. I'm serious. You got any more baby ones, or was that it?
There's some more.
All right, do you mind?
Yeah.
Thanks. That's a great point.
He goes, touch him more, Bill. And then he got out of the movies, and he goes, I guess people like when I touch them.
Oh,
And
wow.
he sees a girl at a bar crying. I guess I should touch her to make her feel better.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and
Richard
just
Cosby.
say it's probably a lot filthier than that. I don't think he got mentally Jedi'd into it. I think Bill was just like, every time to sleep, that's when I make my move. and I think that
It's 100% what
I think that's more of the guy. But this is why we do the show. Because there's no wrong answer here.
Yeah, you can't take out history. He was a part of this awesome movie, and he was good in it.
He was good,
He was
and
good.
so we just know that Jack's gonna have a tough time blending in, and everybody can relate to that.
Yes,
Everybody.
Yep.
I think it's one of the most probably consistent human being traits is trying to fucking feel accepted, find your group, your whatever, or just have. Go ahead.
There's one point you say everybody's going to fit in. There's one line in the movie that I hated where they're talking about sending him to school. Diane Lane says, but kids, they're so mean. It's like his disease is like if he was fat and had glasses. No, Diane Lane.
She said that.
Those are two weird things, but he's 40 and he has hair all over his body. Being fat and having glasses isn't as weird as a 10-year-old that looks 40.
Oh, you would think that.
yeah, you would.
think
Diane Lane would be like, "Oh, I guess that's what you would think, huh?"
By the way, I wrote down that line too. She goes when he says he wants to go to school, and she's talking to the husband, and by the way, who's trying to fuck? It's our first scene where she's getting sweet, and he's behind her, and you see his hand going to the covers. Like you see his hand going to the covers, and you don't know where it's going. Anyway, she's like, if kids make fun of fat kids with glasses, imagine what they're gonna do to a 6-foot hairy kid. Yeah. And like even she's being like roasting and toasting him a little bit, but because even she's like, what the fuck? This came out of me. Like you can only imagine what sort of surgery I'm gonna need later. And so I remember when she said this one line, she goes, he's going to have trouble fitting in. And then they cut to a beautiful but also funny picture. And this borders that line of if he's going to play it like slightly retarded or not, like what Deric said, where they cut to him with a caterpillar on his face. And he was like, and I was like, yikes, dude. This scene could go a myriad of different ways. But I'm taking it as beautiful because Robin he seemed with it.
Every shot with the caterpillar was absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah,
it was like
yeah.
it was like
gorgeous.
It was like the scene of them deciding whether or not to go to school was shot by Disney, and then Coppola was like, "Leave me the caterpillars, please. I need something.
But that's
I need something, please.
Those shots.
I gotta be an artist."
Those shots took days.
Yeah,
Those shots took.
passing.
You have to get to time that right with the light. It was beautifully insane.
Oh,
But
yeah.
that's also foreshadowing because caterpillars, they're born and then they only have a little bit to live and then they die. But they make this beautiful statement in the world they
Spoiler
live
alert.
in. But like,
there was butterflies all over.
but that's the thing is like
There were butterflies all over.
You
Butterflies all
you
over.
wouldn't get shit like that if it was just like a cookie cutter director.
No.
Francis is a real filmmaker, so you are getting foreshadowing through the movie. You're getting like these weird artsy touches, and then there's 20 minutes of like, oh, this is a children's movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Watch these kids play basketball.
And I would like to say it'd be cool to see like a Spielberg take on a movie like this. But, Goonies, I guess, is what you would say if you go, what's but I guess a script that was this, knowing that something was going to be full Disney and then having a Spielberg come in. Like if Spielberg did The Big Green, is it The Big Green or The Green Machine with the fucking kid from Sandlot? Hamilton Porter, the soccer one. The Big Green.
I've never seen that one.
I've never seen it either. That could be next.
It's fantastic.
It is?
It's fantastic.
It's a kid from the Sandlot, a Hamilton Porter, as a goalie. That's
Big
all
Green-
I know.
Yeah, Big Green Machine.
The Big Green Machine.
I've never seen or heard of
I've
this
never
one.
heard of
It's
this.
fantastic. There's
Put
a
it to queue.
there's a goat in it.
Wait,
Always
it's about
fun.
Soccer?
So Jack comes in. Mom's like, I don't know if he should go to school. Like, he wants to. I think we just can't. He's going to be fucking 41 soon. We got to, let him make his own choices. And then Jack comes in and is like, I can't sleep. And he's just cock blocking up a city. The dad is very, very upset.
He's the crying Robin does in bed when they're having that talk.
Oh, yeah.
Because remember, there's that one. It was just heartbreaking. It was
really
like
heartbreaking.
real of like this 10-year-old is lonely.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
The guy has an amazing ability to tap into it. And so he goes to school the next day. Exciting. Here we go. I like that the movie was not wasting any time.
No, the movie didn't waste time. It did not
right
waste
there.
time.
Let's get into seeing him try to figure this out. And the principal is like classic principal. I mean, Mr. McGee calls him Mr. Magoo, and he corrects him. And he's like, hello, Jack, you want to see a classroom? Like, just such a cartoon of a human, but so funny. And Jack's like, yeah. And then this was like this was my favorite first Robin Williams out in the wild moment where he's like, do you want to see your classroom? Yes. Louder. Yes. Louder. Like that. I remember that being in the trailer. You know what I'm saying? Because that's clean Robin Williams, funny.
It was so laugh out loud. We watched it today.
Yeah.
It still got all of us.
Yeah.
Knew it was
House
coming.
laugh.
Got all of us. House laugh.
House laugh.
Unreal.
He goes, how's your classroom? He goes, it's hecka cool. And I love that. And then you hear the kids start to, this is the part too that is very telling of, wow, he's got an uphill climb. Robin walks in to the classroom, Jack. He's nervous as fuck. And all the kids are just doing what kids do at this age. Like, look at him. He looks like my dad. What a fucking freak. He's a giant. I mean, they're just going in on hard in the paint. And do we think, you knew this scene was going to be set up for the ultimate, fall out of the desk and break it.
No, but they set him up. When she says, "Oh, your seat's in the back," and it's first, it's tiny.
he's going to walk of shame before he's even done anything.
Well, actually, she kind of insults him 3 times. I noticed this in the first thing. So she says, "All right, guys, get out your giant books." Oh, I mean geography books.
Oh, that was not
strike one.
That's
Not cool.
not an easy slip up. No, those 2 words are very different, Jennifer.
If I'm Jack, I'm like, all right. I'm not mad, but I'm like, caught that.
Yeah, that's like being at dinner, being like, "Hey, pass the tampon, fork." No, dude, no, man. There's no way you can misconstrue those
What
two.
are you thinking about?
Yeah, what are you thinking about? That's on you, bitch.
And then he sits in the chair. First one breaks. And she's like, oh, sit to the next one. And the next one breaks. And it's like, oh, if I'm him, I'm walking out of the class. I'm like, oh, this bitch is out for me.
Yeah, but totally. But he wanted it. He was desperate. I think he was at this point where he's like,
you're right,
I gotta
he
go
was
to school.
desperate.
I gotta figure this out. So then Chair laughs, and then the bully does. Oh no, this was great. Then she goes, "Hey kids," which again, Jennifer, I know your heart was in the right place, but you set him up for failure. She goes, "You guys probably have a lot of questions, so fucking load up the guns and start firing." Because you didn't say anything about being appropriate. You just go, "Hey, open the cage and feast on the fucking freak," and they did, and they were just like, what's your birthday? And he was like, September 12th. And some kid goes, 1902. Boom, first slam.
I mean, well done.
And then J-Lo's like, well, what else? And then he's like, I hate broccoli. And she's like, fuck yeah, we all hate broccoli. And then she was like, hey, I bet you guys didn't know you have a lot more in common than you think. And I was like, that's one veggie fact. That ain't shit. Like, don't try. That's a big stretch again, but her heart's in the right place. She's trying to be like, he hates broccoli. If you're a broccoli hater, raise the roof. And you're all best friends now. It's like,
dude, she's like Emperor Palpatine, where like Jack's getting hurt, and she's like, let the hate flow through you. It's just like fucking.
Yeah, but we needed it. We needed that scene so that we fell for Jack. Breaks the chair. Crowd goes crazy, and then the bully Luis. I mean, one of my favorite slams, I think, to this day. You have exactly disease. What's that? It's where your mouth smells exactly like your butt.
That's fire.
It's a great line.
Can't come back from that on your first day.
No. I would have transferred schools.
Yeah.
Well, he was saying that to the other bully kids.
Yes.
When he said that. Yeah, he said that to the other.
Oh, that's right. That's a recess.
That's at the basketball
Now we're at recess,
off.
yeah.
Yeah, that's when they first, because they want him to play basketball. And, you know, the cute girl, Jessie Smollett's sister, comes up and she's poking at him. You know what I mean? That's that, which is really nice. I liked it. It was very real. Nobody played with him the first couple of days. Like, that is real. It was like, you know, everybody was like, what the fuck's going on?
I like the dynamic between Jessie Smollett's sister and then the white girl.
Dude, those
that was a good dynamic. It was a good bit. Like those two girls arguing was a good bit.
No, she knows what her brother did.
Yeah.
No,
this is the punishment for your family now.
Jessie Smollett's
they were good playing bullies. Jessie Smollett should have hired them to bully him in Chicago.
It was just two girls.
What if it's just them in like big black guy outfits in Chicago?
So he's at recess again. This whole day is like nothing's gonna go in his favor, right? Teased in class, desk breaks. Yeah. J-Lo's like, hey guys, get out your freak books. I mean math books. You know, and then so self-esteem's at an all-time low. And the ball rolls to him. They're like, you know, fuck this kid. Like, don't touch it. I think one of the boys says it's contaminated.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. I mean,
that one was a real moment.
And then he drops the ball and wipes his hand.
Because, bro, that's what made him feel like a kid. Like, oh, he's not retarded. Like, you say, like, he told the line of, like, oh, this is a kid. Because he was like, oh, I'm going to be in on, like, oh, it is. It's the ball. It's not me.
Yeah.
I remember the way he dropped it being so, like, powerful, too. Like, it just, like, the way it bounced and you heard that, like, fucking street ball sound. And he just kind of, like, even put his hands away. Like, he just was like, why am I even trying to fucking do this? Like, all I'm doing was standing here hoping to get picked for a team because I heard that's how it works. I didn't fucking, heard you got, roasted on your first day. But, look, it's what not every kid goes through, but like, again, all kids feel a little piece of what Jack's going through, which is like, man, like nobody just walks in the door, cock out, breath sweet, just ready to tackle the day and make friendships. No one's got a phone book. No one's walking up being like, put your email in here, man. I'm trying to collect contacts. I'm fucking 12.
Because he's dealing with everything a regular 10-year-old's dealing with, and also sciatica.
Also sciatica.
Also, he's dealing with other bad shit.
But then, guess what? We go from sad to funny because now Robin's home and he's sad and he's. Go ahead.
There is that one more scene where doesn't she assign the paper to them?
That's after this.
That's after. Okay.
He's at home sliding down the box.
The box the magical box that is definitely too little to have a grown human being.
And for two adults to fuck.
Two adults to fuck.
And by the way, he's not in this thing hiding out. It's sealed, signed, and ready to be delivered. He's ready to fucking mail himself to a different continent. I mean, and he's sliding down the stairs being like, don't talk to me. I'm going to Iraq or whatever. And she's like, fuck, dude. And it's just like bad news bears. And he's feeling down. And the day sucked. And I think the parents, were just like, hey, tomorrow's a new day, whatever. And
they had that lame scene with his dad helping him ride his bike, but just sort of just being there.
Yeah, exactly. So the dad never struck me as someone who was like, I don't know, Diane Lane was just so like in his corner. And it almost seemed like the dad was maybe one of those dads where it's like, he looked at like, there's dads out there that where, whether the kid is, telling him that he's, coming out of the closet or the kid was born with something weird and the dad's like, fuck. I don't want to raise a fucking weird kid. He struck me as that guy a little bit.
Well, you said best the actor never made a choice.
He never made it kind of seems like that was a choice he was making, but like he never truly made it. he was just like, I guess like it's his indifference is because he didn't care about the role. It feels like
Yeah.
He just like
'Cause
whatever.
he never was like, oh, okay, this guy, he's a piece of shit dad.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a good dad.
I would've
Oh,
liked
he's
it.
an absentee dad. It's like, you got to make a choice, man. What kind of dad are you?
I would have loved it if he was a piece of shit dad. That
Me
would have
too.
made it more interesting. It would have made it way more real too. Because of course the dad of this guy would be a piece of shit.
I still think there should have been no dad.
No, she should have been a single mom.
She should have been a single mom.
It should have just been focused on the single mom.
Because
Yeah.
then it makes her more intense.
Yeah, that is great. Yeah, because what did he really serve other than? Because she wouldn't. It's not
Well,
like she was staying home. Well, I guess you know what it was, so they could fuck. Because she was definitely didn't work. She was a stay-at-home mom.
And they had a house in the Bay Area, so
And
someone
they
had to
wanted
work.
her to have money. They didn't want
Someone
them to
had
be
to
poor.
work. Yeah.
Because if you make her if her son's a 40-year-old freak giant and they're poor,
poor,
Not possible.
now it's not fun at all.
Nobody wants to watch that. By the way. Yeah, that's it.
He's
Yeah.
just selling drugs. It makes sense.
That sounds like a better movie.
That
sounds like a better
Dude,
movie.
that's the sequel. Jill.
That's the sequel.
It's called Jill. It's the girl version.
Oh my God.
Oh my God! Yeah, she's poor as fuck in the projects and starts just selling drugs and her body. Yeah. All right. So next day at school. She. By the way, that's hilarious. It's like reverse Big with a slutty girl.
People
She's
are
like
telling her
fucking all
she's
these kids. Oh, wait a second. All right, I take that back. Maybe that's not what we want to see, or maybe it is. I don't know. Yeah. So next day, J-Lo sees Jack at recess again, and he's fucking down in the dumps. He crawls in that little half tunnel that they got on the playground.
God, don't you remember those though?
Those were the shit, man. That's
Yeah.
where you went to like pretend to be melancholy, so a girl would like come, go, what's going on? Or something happened during a game, and fuck this, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, Brad's in the tunnel. Like, fucking, something's up. And either, like, you had to be at the right enough age where, like, nothing, you didn't have any problems, but you're like, I think people are supposed to have issues. So you start creating emotional fucking roller coasters at recess, and then you're like, I'm gonna go, like, pretend like, I got the weight of the world on me. He's in the tunnel, whatever.
No, that's why, bro. Why? Because it's like, why would they invent those? They wanted us as young kids to be like, hey, they need to learn early.
Yeah,
that you gotta find a place to be fat.
Go chill out in the therapy dish. And so Jack is in full stop, drop, and roll position.
Yep.
And J-Lo comes up. And this is, I love this because, you're looking out. Who are his allies? Who's looking out for him? Luis, the kid, starts to take his side.
Right
Frank-
here, right? Pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
So J-Lo comes up, Ms. Marquez, and she's like, what's going on, man? And she's trying to bond with him, and he's got his
those
gummy
gummy
bears, and she's like, I'd love a red one. Just getting real picky right out of the
That
gate.
right there, she didn't
Also,
realize
the
the door she opened when she said, I like a red one, because he heard, do you want to fuck?
Yeah.
That's what he heard.
Could I have a red one? The red ones are my favorite. Yeah? Thanks.
I might have a
picking-
10-year-old mind, but a 40-year-old body, baby. Don't get it mixed.
Yeah, you're picking
Wait,
the
didn't-
sexiest color. Dude.
Wait,
Yeah.
remember a kid earlier in the movie just tries to fuck her. He just goes like,
No, that comes in a
Oh,
bit.
yeah,
that comes-
that-
okay,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Great.
yeah.
So funny. It's Disney, right? I mean, it happened in Blank Check. It's got to happen in Jack. I mean, somebody at the top, Bob Iger or fucking Warren Beatty or whoever was running Disney, was like, at some point, we got to have a kid-woman relationship blossoming. Yeah.
if I went through it, they're going to go through it.
I want to give these
And
kids.
they'll like it.
And they'll like it. So Miss Marquez, and then she's like bonding and being real sweet. And J-Lo, is I mean, she came in hot. Like, it's definitely, you get what, like, that I don't know if the teacher needed to be, attractive, but she was. And it now sparks the question, and I want to hit everybody on the table. Did you have a teacher you had a crush on? And at what age, and who were they? Tony.
High school band teacher. We had she would come teach the trumpet section, and she was the daughter of the music director of our high schools,
Yep.
and she would come in during the summers. Yeah.
Wow.
So
What instrument did she play?
She played trumpet.
Wow.
Yeah, she was awesome.
Her name?
I'm not gonna say it.
Okay.
Why?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Miss Batterack.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are you talking
Yeah.
about?
How many batterets are on
Is
Facebook?
she related to Bert?
No,
That's amazing.
but yeah.
Yeah, and did you now? What grade was this again?
So she came in freshman through junior year.
Of high school.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, so that's an older crush. I'm talking like elementary school crush.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's
I'm
right.
talking
That's
like
crazy.
the young, like the way that these kids were looking at Miss Marquez.
No, we had like very like tenured, like stern German teachers when I was in
Gotcha.
Germany. Not very fun.
By the way, Stern German, a porn that definitely doesn't have the ending you think it does.
it ends at a camp that you want to go home to.
Now, I had Mrs. Robish,
Okay.
third grade, so that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
did you, Ahsan, did you have a...
Not when I was young. All my like teachers when I was like young were like old women.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Sam?
Interesting.
I was homeschooled, so that would have been weird.
Yeah, you were
Great.
homeschooled.
Great joke.
You didn't
There's a
answer.
great joke there for you.
She was
Everybody
like-
had the teacher that had a crush, and I was homeschooled, so, you know,
Sam,
it's my dad.
answer the
Whatever.
question.
Yeah. Put me in dodgy.
I didn't know your life.
Who was
a-
hotter, mom or dad?
It was my mom.
Yeah. Good answer. Good answer.
For me, bro, I remember her name, Miss Sincor, 4th grade. Miss Sincor, C-I-N-C-O-R-E.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Shout
so
out Miss
hot.
Sincor. Yeah.
Sincor, but it's spelled different.
It was
That's
spelled
hot.
different, bro. It was really hot.
Is
She
it?
was a black lady. She was so fucking hot, bro. But like, I wonder what she looks like now. But it was like she was like a hot, like, oh god, what's her name? Yeah, remember the scary movies?
Yeah.
The black girl in them.
Oh, Regina Hall?
Regina Hall.
Yeah.
She's hot like how Regina Hall is. She's like, oh man, she's
cool.
a sexy
Yeah.
woman. Like that's a woman.
What was it about her? Because, and this was 3rd grade, you said?
Fourth.
Fourth
grade.
So again, this is what I was looking for. Like, what at that age where you're, I think, around the time or maybe a year or so away from being like, whoop, what is that? And what do I do with it?
Yeah.
Like, are you like having a crush on her? Is it because she's so cool? Like, do you remember what it was? Or were you just like taken aback by just the full on hotness?
It wasn't even. It was the hotness. It was just like.
You're not supposed to be attracted because she's a teacher?
She was a woman. I was like, well, this is a woman. It was the first time I ever remember. I'm glad you brought. Wow, it was the first time I ever remember being like, oh, that's a not one of these other girls that I think is cute.
You
No,
know
that's
your
a-
mom and your mom's friends.
That's it. But this is a
Yeah.
woman, and I'm into her
Yeah.
more than I've ever been into anyone else.
And she also, I think, at least for me, like has to have a little bit of like, you guys had a fun banter.
we had a rat-tat, bro. We had a rat-tat-tat. We had a little rat-tat-tat. Yo, Miss
a
Sincor,
rat-tat-tat.
if you're out there, you know we did.
Well, see,
I know she might deny that, but you know we did.
Sincor,
Bitch.
comment below. Let us know what your rat-tat-tats were and how your rat-tat-tats are doing. And I Miss Robish, and I invited her to my Little League game, and she fucking showed up with her boyfriend. And I remember in the 3rd grade thinking, I don't remember saying you had a +1, bitch. I invited you to come watch me hit off a tee, and that was it.
Did you hit a home run and then just look at him the whole way?
Yeah,
like
I
running bases, just
In
looking
my
at him?
Disney movie called One Last Hit or fucking Butt Cum, I'm hitting it one-handed and I'm dropping the bat and looking right at him. And that was a bummer. But she had a sweetness that
And
was
that guy's
unmatched.
looking at you going like, I can't hit a ball like that.
The Disney dad that's so like, well, this kid's got it. This kid's way cooler than me. All right, and I love the teasing, by the way. The girls are like, Mrs. Marquez and Jack sitting in a tree. I mean, it's like, even at that age. And that was a classic burn, too, because, like, you know, it takes you a while, you know, to get older to realize, oh, they were insinuating that I'm fucking the teacher.
Yeah.
Like, there's no slam here at all. It's full compliment city, and I'm the mayor. Like, but these kids are like, you fuck the teacher. And he was like, no, I
she's
don't.
like that.
No.
So
It's
hot.
also that teacher's
Yeah.
pet aspect.
Yeah,
Where,
yeah.
he's the teacher's pet.
Yeah.
He can't handle it on his own. Like, yeah, it's like a double meaning there.
Hey guys, Adam Ray here. Hope you're enjoying this special episode of the About Last Night podcast. Checking in with you because it's a new year. You've got new goals, and Factor is here to help you achieve each and every one of them. I know you're like me. You want to save time. You want to make sure you have all the right energy to tackle the day-to-day and hit everything on your to-do list. And when you do that, you need energy. You need to be locked in, dialed in, and prepped for the day. So hit up Factors because they've got ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to Yaodawa. When you get Factor, you not only skip the trip to the grocery store, which is exhausting and, you know, great people watching, but there's some freaks out there lately that make you question your decisions and where you shop. So skip all that BS, skip the chopping, the prepping, and the cleaning up too, because Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are ready to go in just 2 minutes. So all you got to do is heat up and enjoy. Truly, whatever lifestyle you're living, Factor has the meals to help you live it to the fullest with keto, calorie smart, vegan, plus veggie, and protein plus meals on the menu each week. All these meals are prepared by chefs and approved by dietitians, and they all have the ingredients that you need to feel satisfied all day long. With 34 chef-prepared, dietitian-approved weekly options, there's always something new to try, which is awesome because you get to mix it up. Nobody likes the same old food day after day. Plus, you can round out your meal and replenish your snack supply with an assortment of 36-plus quick bites, smoothies, juices, and more satisfying add-ons. Looking to cut back on takeout? Well, Factor's the move, man. We started getting down with them a few months ago, and it's been not only the cheapest, most affordable route as far as trying to get food going, but it's better than takeout, and the meals are quicker than restaurant delivery. They're ready for you in 2 minutes. So get Factor right now and enjoy clean eating without the hassle. Achieve and maintain your goals this year with Factor. Get America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit and start saving time, eating well, and living your best in 2023. I know this sounds too good to be true, but it's not. So head over right now to factormeals.com/about60 and use promo code about60 to get 60% off your first box. That's incredible. Nobody else offers that. That's promo code about60 at factormeals.com/about60. Promo code about60 to get 60% off your first box. Do it, love it, live it. Let's get back to the episode. It was another important scene because then we go into back home again. Oh, by the way, she goes, anyone bothers you, Jack, come tell me. Just basically being like, you have full jurisdiction to tattle your ass off. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right,
nobody,
right.
She was like, you're not going to get judged for tattling. You're already getting judged for wearing deodorant. Like, you know, and so.
Mom
You're already
said
getting
that
judged
too.
having so many pubes
mom was
going
like-
all the way up to your chest. Going up to the top of your chest.
Say his mom what?
His mom was like, if anyone's mean to you, tell your teacher and I'll come kill him.
She said that?
Yeah.
That was like on the
Okay,
first day of
wow.
school.
The first day of school, because that does let you know a lot about the mom.
That's where his son
She's
just
like-
pulled his pants down.
Yeah,
He's like, Diane's Lane is also a fucking bounty hunter.
Hey, Jack, say I was mean to you. Tell your mom I was really mean.
And then I love this line. She's obviously Latina, right? So then she takes the gummy bears and walks away and goes, thanks for lunch. And Jack goes, de nada. And she laughs, and I'm like, oh, this motherfucker's in.
Game,
No, he's in.
dude.
No, she's throwing it back at him.
Yeah.
I know, because I know in her head
She
she's
is.
like, oh no, he's the weird kid, yada yada. It's like, no, but you're throwing it at him.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is.
And then there's that famous basketball scene. The bullies come up to challenge Luis and the rest of the homies, and they're like, hey, Luis, still a Luiser? Or a loser? Wait, a Louiser?
A Louiser?
A Louiser?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? A loser? A Louiser?
Yeah,
Loser?
yeah.
Whatever he
Louis-
says.
yeah.
Yeah, it played. And so then he's like, we got the new kid. You know, and then he goes, hey, Jack, you want to play? And he goes, me? And he goes, no, the other 40-year-old behind you. So funny.
That's the kind of burn, though, where you're like, oh, I like this guy.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I deserve that burn.
Well, that's the kind of burn your friend gives you, for
Yes.
sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then you just know, too, that this is going to be like Jack's day. It's like, I don't know if it was day 2 or day 5, but it's like redemption is right around the corner. And, you know, stand up. It was almost like Sandlot, like when Benny the Jet was like, dude, Smalls, fucking hold the glove up.
I'll do the rest.
I'll do the rest. Kid, Luis tries to pull that to Jack. He's like, put your arms up, stand there. And then he doesn't fucking move because he was like following directions. He's like, dude, you got to fucking, you know, turn to Shaq or Yao. And he's like, all right. And then move your feet. He starts doing rapid feet and then figures it out, gets a block. And I mean, did you go nuts? It was the first, like, fucking everyone's going nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. The ring around him of kids form and watch
Oh,
him
yeah.
play. I did think it was insane that, like, okay, so he's dominating in the paint. And at no point does any kid try an outside shot. They're all like, no, let's
I thought about that too, yeah.
we don't deviate
Keep
from the game
pounding
plan.
the paint.
Yeah.
No, we don't deviate from the plan.
don't
We
deviate from the plan.
challenge at the rim.
A great scene. with-
That's what made us who we are. And
if I remade the movie, the ball would roll slowly and big hands pick it up, and it's just Steph Curry, and he's just like, let me try. And he's just shooting threes on him.
That's so funny.
That's the sequel, Steph.
Great call. So then he figures it out, blocks the shit out of everybody. I thought he was going to start dunking. That would have been great.
They should've.
He clearly could drop it over the rim. So, you know, why he didn't throw it down, I'll never fully understand.
They were
that.
choking him. The kids started climbing him, like trying to tear him down,
Yeah.
and he was still making shots.
he also does have 40-year-old knees.
Yeah, they're not concerned about his body at
Good
all.
call. Good call. And so, so now he runs home like the way that Charlie Bucket ran home when he found the golden ticket.
It is so he's so into it.
It's very kid. It's like
the
so good.
jacket.
The jacket in the wind. Yeah.
And a lunchbox.
Where, like, you
swinging.
wanna-
And the lunchbox swinging. God.
And you're like so excited, you just want to go home and tell everybody at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he ran across that field. I thought he was going to fucking like lay somebody out. Like that would have been a fun little like. There's a big like he is a big body like
Just a little girl, the smallest girl too.
Yeah, that he just bumps into and like body checks and goes, "Oh, sorry," and then keeps running.
Like, but you see her fly off, like she goes fucking.
Yeah, I was expecting that, but you know, it would have kept the momentum going. So he gets home, drops all his shit, clothes off, calls Dad's on set, by the way, videotape or shooting us advertising layout. He says. Where it's just 3 Hooters girls on a carrot, and there's a horse there for some reason. They don't know. You don't explain. You don't get any explanation for what product he's photographing.
He's like, I'm working for Big Carrot. That's what he said.
Yeah, man.
Guys, and I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding you. I mean this. I probably think about that scene since I saw it, maybe once a month.
Yeah.
I'm before Spoil the Beat. I'm talking about before I met any of you guys. Before I started comedy, when I saw that movie. I thought about that scene my whole life. Just like I've always thought. Up. Why?
Yeah,
just because I remember it was also one of the first times I seen titties like that. It was just a lot.
Throw him in an office. That's all you got to do. He's answering a phone. No. He's walking out of a conference room on the phone to go, or picking up the phone at the secretary. There's a call for you, Mister.
And I know he's this is a busy rich dad.
Well,
I can't have that.
Because I think the energy was when he's like touching the girl's leg. Like the energy was like, "Hey, look at this piece of shit." But again, he didn't make any decisions. He just like
again,
I think here, and then I answered the phone.
Like it's supposed to be slimy.
Yeah.
Like he was supposed to play it slimy.
He does lie about what he just says it's carrots. He just says it's boring.
I think it's intentional. That might have been a weird like underlying.
No, I think it's again because like the Penthouse stuff comes later with the magazines.
Yeah.
His dad shoots erotic stuff. Dad, what's a Penthouse? And probably tells him later. Like I think it's just showing like, hey, this dad works in the industry. It kind of just normalizes it. It's
This dad works in the
industry. Yeah.
In the.
He's also he's like I work long hours. You know, someone's got to fucking fly in that big ass carrot. And he's like, I can't be at home playing robots and aliens with my fucking 50-year-old, 12-year-old. He's like, I'm out, babe. I'm making, but he's also paying for that Bay house.
Yeah.
So
He is paying for the Bay house, but he doesn't listen to his family because the kid drops so much information and he just goes, oh well, that's good. When he's like, hey dad,
I pretended to be
hey Jack,
principal.
I'm trying to fuck these whores.
That's what's
he goes, I'm trying to fuck this.
That was the crazy thing is he goes, I scored 1 trillion points in basketball. Okay, just 14. That was great. And then he goes, I pretended to be principal, and no one asked.
And then he said, "And what are dirty magazines?"
What does that mean? They let you become principal, Jack? On day 5? What are you doing at school,
Where's your
Jack?
mom? Where's your
dad
mom?
was just like,
put your mom on.
The dad seems like, wow, what a good day. All right, son, I got titties to shoot.
Yeah.
So the Fran Drescher scene, we didn't talk about. So the Fran Drescher scene happened. Just happened right before this, before the run.
So give
before
us that
the
scene,
run of excitement.
Yeah. Oh, and the essay scene too.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
The essay scene.
After basketball, she gives him an essay. What do you want to be when you're older? And then he has that moment where he's like, when I'm 28, I'm supposed to be 112, and you see him really understand his mortality.
No, he literally says, he goes, what do I want to be when I grow up? Alive.
Alive.
Whoa, dude.
Cried.
Welcome back to the line of the movie. Until Fran Drescher comes up, and he's like, Louis is like, yo, dude, you got to do me a solid, man. I'm fucking failing everything.
There's still one more line in the essay thing where one of the kids goes, hey, Miss Jennifer Lopez.
Miss Marquez,
I want to be a gynecologist. And she goes, you need a reason. You're the reason. And then she sort of glosses over that.
Oh,
she goes,
hey, I need you to be serious about this. I'm already throwing my pussy at another kid over there.
Yeah.
So you got to be.
This kid's taking a shot. He's like, bitch, he's 40. Like, you give him one whiskey and diet, he ain't getting it up.
After that scene, she walks over to Jack and she goes, Shaq better watch his back.
Oh, yeah, she like whispers in his ear and like.
She does whisper in his ear.
Yeah, like jerks him off a little bit.
She kind of reaches around.
You're the reason I want to be a gynecologist. Like, dude, if you're the janitor and you hear that, you go, dude, I'm jerking you off just for the chutzpah. Just for the attempt. That was a great line.
Also,
for a 10-year-old, amazing.
What school does the teacher let that fly?
Oh,
if you said that
Disney school, man. Have you seen any Disney movie again? Going back to it, blank check. I mean, we're gonna keep. There's gonna be no shortage of whoever's at the top being like, dude. A lot of these young boys who watch, and I would say probably a lot of these types of Disney movies were catered towards us, right? Mm-hmm. And so I feel like, I don't know, you never, and also just in the way that like people joke about if a female teacher bangs a male student, everyone's like, hell yeah. Other way around, wait a second. So you can't put that in Disney. They were smart enough to know.
It can, but they knew that like, oh, we can have as many little boys fuck as many grown men as we fucking want.
Yeah.
We'll do it as many times as we want, and they can't say anything about it.
Grown women.
Grown women, yeah.
Yes. Because if it was fucking like Aaron Eckhart, like as the teacher, and fucking Lindsay Lohan, and she was like, I want to be a fucking, penis doctor. And he's like, you got to give me a reason. And she was like, ew. He'd be like, oh, this scene ain't going to see the third act of this movie. But, all right, so then Fran Drescher shows up, and Lewis is like, dude, I'm failing everything. You got to do me a solid. Or does he even prep him? I think he just puts him on the spot there. She's
him on the spot.
She's like, where's Principal Powell? And he's like, right here. He's like, oh, yeah, hello, and then she's like, what happened to Mr. McGee? And Robin just comes in hot with, again, the second big Robin kid laugh in the theaters moment where he's like, Mr. McGee had diarrhea. I mean, dude, I still laughed. He spewed.
It's spewed everywhere.
He spewed everywhere. He squirted. He had squirt diarrhea.
For Fran Drescher to play it like, oh, that's all. Like,
she goes, oh, God. Oh, God.
Oh, no, I'm glad I wasn't here.
I'm glad I wasn't here to squirt. Oh, my God.
And I don't mean to say this lightly, but she might quite possibly be the stupidest movie character of all time.
Yeah,
it's up there.
amazing.
It's like Dumb and Dumber Dumb. It's
Yeah.
like, wow.
Yeah.
My favorite line.
I mean, he's rubbing his hands are up
Up
his
his
shirt.
shirt.
He's like,
Yeah,
He puts his hands and does pretend titties with his fingertips.
She keeps flirting.
She
keeps
keeps flirting.
flirting.
And she just was like, look, I just got out of a marriage. I don't care what you're doing with your fingertips.
Like nothing turned around.
She's like, hey, you are a breath of refreshing 40-year-old man in a 12-year-old body air, because
so
no guy I've
manly.
ever dated has ever done fingertip titties. It made me laugh. There's something about you doing it is very cute.
She said that. She said, you're so
you're
man.
so manly.
So funny.
Oh, God.
So then
But also head down, zero confidence. Like,
Yeah, zero
He's not
confidence.
even making eye contact.
And she goes, oh, go ahead.
My favorite line in that scene was when she's like, ever since me and her dad broke up, he just doesn't listen.
Yeah.
Kids don't listen. And he just goes, what? Like,
Oh,
it was
great
like
writing.
a cool.
Funny. That was
it was
great
cool.
writing,
Okay,
yeah.
he's still a kid. Like, I love that kind of shit.
Yeah,
Like,
that was a good joke.
it's like he has a
Like,
chip
should
on
I
his shoulder.
say
Corn or
men
flour.
don't
Corn or
listen?
flour,
Yeah.
and she dies laughing.
Yeah.
And then
that's what he was in from that moment.
No, the moment he said that line, he was in.
He was in.
all
and
the
then
way
she's
in.
like, "How is he doing? Because he's always so bad at it. Probably the divorce." And then he's like, "He's the smartest kid in the class." And she's like, "The smartest kid in the class. Fucking, I'll blow you here, right?" And so then,
she was like, because he goes,
Come to
he's the
Magoobies.
smartest kid in school. And she goes, oh, I mean, you're probably lying, but I just don't care anymore. It's like, none of this makes sense, but I'm so fucking dead inside.
I know you're not the principal. What the fuck? You're wearing a fanny pack and your socks don't match.
I've never fucked a 40-year or a 10-year-old that looked 40.
Yeah.
So let's give
Yeah.
this a try.
Yeah. Here's my phone number. I'm going to Magoobies at 8:30. You'll know who I am. I'll be the one with the titties you just impersonated. Oh man, she starts smoking. She's like, yeah, I want to shoot the breeze. And then he smacks the cig out and says, those are bad for you. And she goes, and when it's bad, being bad, being bad. What did she say?
What's so bad
And
about
then Louis,
being
Louis,
bad?
Oh yeah, wait, say it, Sam.
see what he say?
She goes,
What's so bad
perfect.
about being bad?
Yeah, what's so bad about being bad? And she's right.
And then Louis has to be like, oh,
here
my
she goes
fuck,
again.
This,
That's
he
what she
does. He goes, this fucking lady.
Yeah, Mom, I guess I'll go wait in the porta potty again where you fucking scissor this guy in the parking lot. At least it's not a Denny's parking lot. And then we're getting into like territory where Jack's like stepping out of his comfort zone. He's feeling accepted. That's right. Runs home, calls Pops. He's shooting
The horse carrot
tits and horses.
Carrot tits.
Carrot tits.
It's just that, you know how much there's so many like the amount of budget for the horse alone.
Should be like a got milk ad for carrots?
Yeah,
Like a
that's what
got
it is.
carrots?
Bro, they did have to pay more money to have a horse on set.
Because you need the trainer, you need the like.
You need to pay for all that shit. For Francis Ford Coppola to be like, no. But leave it in.
So then runs home. Dad, horseshoe. Jack. Then he goes to the treehouse.
Yeah.
And he's going off for the night, and he was out. Mom shows up at the door with the robot alien outfit. She's like, "Where are you going?" And he's like, "To a better life, bitch." And he bikes away.
Yo, first sleepover? Come on, baby.
That's huge.
First sleepover is a fucking thing.
This was one of my favorite scenes in the movie because of that alone. Because it was like, man, that's another thing where like I remember, I think it was Brendan Doheny I went to first sleepover, and man, crazy. You're so pumped. It was like the first taste of like feeling like an adult because you're like, I don't have to like, you get to do things other than the parents that are there. Your buddy's hopefully not going to hold you accountable too much because it's your first time away from your bed.
Yeah.
So it was like, dude, if you fucking go up to the kitchen and take my favorite fucking Chewy bars that like, that I hid, like, it's all good, man. I know you're playing an away game tonight. But guess what? But I'm going to give you my debit card and you can get unlimited popcorn.
That's right, baby. God, yeah, man. That feeling, because when you watch him run out the house and he's like, "Bye, Mom," I'm like, man. Because, I mean, to me, sleepover, I remember, mine was Marcus, a guy named Marcus. But I remember that feeling of like, yo, this is all I've ever wanted, to go over to my friend's house and I don't have to come back home. That's all I've ever wanted.
Big deal.
I remember one of the first sleepovers, like 7th grade. My dad gave me a debit card, and that's when Redbox first came out.
Whoa.
And I had a debit card, so I rented us like a rated R movie. And then, like, we were like, okay, when your mom goes to bed, we'll turn on the movie. And it was like, I think it was like Step Brothers, where we weren't allowed, they wouldn't take us to go see Step Brothers. So I rented it for us. And then, like, at 2 in the morning, the mom came out and she goes, "How did y'all get this movie?"
What a sleepover.
Yeah. It was it was like a real,
That's awesome.
It was awesome.
That's
it was
some like Hardy Boys heist shit where you guys get to go on a little journey together.
Yeah.
Also outside of the house as a kid, like, big deal.
Just being outside the house as a kid. That's what it is. That feeling of like, I'm out of the house.
Yeah.
So obviously it's going to be weird because Luis is like, yo, I'm bringing in, a new guest star to the show called Treehouse that you guys have all been starring in. But hey, man, he did me a solid today and I don't know, kept me from being kicked out of school, So
And just my mom being on my ass, I wouldn't have been able to have the sleepover.
Yeah.
Like, all the what would have happened is like, I'd have been in trouble.
Totally. The treehouse looked a little janky and wanky. It didn't look like it was going to hold up the whole scene, as we come to find. But, Louis stepped it up. The kids were like, dude, fucking, I love this. They were like, no, man, there's no room. And then he's like, brought the penthouse, and that changed everything.
Also, I love you. They showed Jack, and Jack is like, it's the first time he's like, I've never seen somebody just do something for me.
For me.
Right.
I didn't have to ask. He just did that for me.
He said he's cool. And they were like, I swear to God, this one kid was like, I swear to God, if he does anything, one fucking weird thing.
I swear to God, if he touches me like my uncle.
If he starts blowing bubbles out of his ass, I don't know.
He's not the first 40-year-old I've met that said he was 10, okay? So for me, I don't fucking trust this guy.
The movie was missing one scene, though.
What's that?
Is with the other kids' parents. Where they just go, okay, he looks 40, but he's 10.
Yeah.
Because there's like no police. If I saw that, if I was like an adult, saw a 40-year-old with other 10-year-olds, I would be like, there's something odd about it.
Yeah, there's no neighborhood cop that saw him crawl into that. I mean, well, let's be honest. Like, who are you more concerned about crawling into the treehouse, fucking Robin or Cosby? But that's later in the scene. So he pulls out the penthouse and he goes, fine. And everyone's like, dude, come on in if you got the mags. You got a seat up here. And that was, very telling of kids at that age. And then they were like, you got Hustler, you got Swank. The kid with the glasses knew all the names of all the
Rick
best
Glassman
issues.
kid.
Rick Glassman Jr., exactly. Tom, what were you going to say?
Honestly, this is where Louis starts his like transformation into being the MVP of this movie.
Totally.
Yeah.
Louis is like one of the best characters. He's really like, oh man, this is a cool. You said it a bunch. This is a cool guy.
He's a cool kid.
Louis is a cool kid. That's because his mom's fucking everyone in front of him, so he kind of knows.
You said that. I was like, man, he's just really a cool kid. And he goes, you said, yeah, his mom's fucking everyone. That kid grew up fast.
That kid also was just like, look, I'm not going to gossip about you at school. Also, Mom, I see fucking dudes are coming in every other night.
They look like you.
They look like you, and I'm not saying anything. And so do me a solid and like maybe let grades slip from time to time.
Also, he probably felt like it's another thing I think with Francis Ford Coppola where it's like Louis probably felt alone a lot of the times too. Didn't have a dad.
Totally.
They moved away from the city. They say that line. She's like, ever since we moved here.
Great call, dude.
So I think when he's like, hey, stop it with the freak shit. Like, he's one of us. It's like him just being like, I've been there.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yep.
Let's just let him in.
And maybe not in the way of being teased, for being like, where's your dad? But more, but definitely that feeling of like, just not having it all together. Like a lot of kids you just assume do, right? Hey, Jack, you ever get a boner? What's that? An erector? Awesome. Now it's just kids being kids in a treehouse. Do you ever, have you ever had a wet dream? Have you ever, no, they didn't say that, but it was building towards that. And then he's like, no, I have never gotten an erector. I hope to get one for Christmas. And then they start having a fart contest.
Fire.
And it's full on Disney fart contest. Hilarious. There's like a soundtrack to it. They're dying laughing. And again, farts bring strangers together.
Always do.
Always do. And now mom's depressed, right? Because he's got friends. Husband comes up. Mom's in the box that that Jack was gonna mail himself in.
Yes.
And
legs out, like really sexy in the box.
Real sexy. Legs all the way out.
Hot dress.
Yeah, he came home he was like, if I have to look at one more goddamn carrot. And then he was like, oh, hello, torso. And then he climbs in, consoles her, again, tries to get things going. She was, kind of like, but, I bet they seem like they had a healthy relationship.
Because right before they fuck, he says, come on, this is our son's favorite box.
He does
And he's
say
not
that.
here for the first time.
You think he ad-libbed that? All right, so
Let's desecrate what he loves.
then the girls come by. And
My sperm is diseased. Let's do it again.
oh yeah. Maybe we can maybe you can just give birth to a 20-year-old who ages backwards. So then the girls come by. No girls allowed. They throw water balloons. Again, an awesome thing as a kid of the age to see this film. We're like, fuck yeah, right? Just guys, girls drool, guys rule, shit, dumb, plays into the film. Water balloons, they were big water balloons too. I thought one of them was going to take it right up
Yeah,
to home.
those were pretty intense.
And they threw. Also, he's a 40-year-old man. He throws really hard.
Yeah.
Like he blasted this little bitch with that shit.
So then they go to the store and they buy. They're like, now we're going to utilize, and you have to have this scene. Now you got to go. The kids are like, all right, you're one of us. Fucking, hold up your end of the bargain. Go to 7-Eleven, Circle K, fucking Buc-ee's, whatever, and get Power Bars, peanuts. Just buy a bunch of random food, and then you know what the go-to item is. Slip it in there and be cash. And he was like, I'll take peanuts, a Power Bar, and a penthouse. And she's like, what? And he's like, and a picture of the Pope.
Oh yeah, and there was a nun behind him.
There's a nun behind him.
Because there's just nuns everywhere in the 90s.
Yeah, it was like classic 90s. If your view of America was like 90s movies, you would think nuns are everywhere.
Nuns are everywhere.
Like you would be like, damn, you're just running into nuns every once in a while.
90s nuns were in like every other film.
Nuns were just out and
They made a
about back
movie,
then.
Sister Act,
Yeah.
1 and 2.
Yeah, great call. Great movie.
Jam and nuns.
They go to the treehouse. Cosby comes up. It's a little weird. He's
Yeah,
like,
for no reason.
Yeah.
There's no real reason why
Why was
Cosby's
he
there.
there?
Why is he hanging? He's hanging with the boys.
Yeah, I think he came to check on Jack, almost like his the way that the child services had in Mrs. Doubtfire had that woman to check on. I think he was just like, it's my greatest student, and the guy to make sure he doesn't die before I teach him algebra. And so he climbs up the tree, and then they're like, yo, eat the crazy fucking P.F. Chang's with Cold Stone Creamery and fucking toothpaste and worms. And Cosby eats it, and then he's one of them, and then he fucking starts to teach him a song, and then the treehouse falls.
And they almost die.
I mean, I don't know how they don't die.
No
It's
one
insane.
throws out
They go
again.
they go like 4 levels.
No, I was saying this was an inside job. It was a controlled demolition, and we need to be asking,
boy.
how
I
did
guess
Bush?
Dan is here.
How did Bush
Put
and
up his
Cheney?
Twitter handle.
Where were they?
Yeah. So then,
He was born September 12th.
What if
He was born September 12th.
oh shit, he was. All right,
Yeah.
touche.
Just making connection.
Touche.
What if Osama bin Laden was watching a movie? He was watching Jack and he goes, oh, wait, I know what I'm going to do.
Oh my god! Fuck!
It's going to be like the movie Jack, but way sadder. And twice.
Oh god! Yeah, hey man, crazier things have happened. So Cosby eats the crazy food goop and the treehouse bus. They survive it. Live another day. Class project. When I grow up, we get that going.
Mm-hmm.
He gives J-Lo some gummy bears and kisses her. Goes for it. And
Yeah,
he's like,
asked her to go to the dance.
Come to the
Yeah,
dance with me.
Dad.
She's like, no, bro, you're fucking misreading the room. And he
No. She opens
no,
up. That we were watching, and it's like, no, she's kind of because he's like,
She
hey.
felt bad, yeah.
No. I mean, like when he hollers at, like when he says, I forgot, he said something nice to her, and he gives her the gummy bears, and then she
sits down.
And she sits. She doesn't take the
Kinda
gummy
like-
bears, but like no, Adam, she doesn't take the gummy bears. It's like, oh, thank you, Jack, that's really nice, and keep that distance. She goes, she kind of grabs, goes,
she
Jack,
felt something.
and then
She was
sits.
touched by the gift.
And then she sits by him. And it's like, but you can't open up like that.
I was saying, though.
She opened up.
She looks like she's in a bad relationship at home. They should have shown that. Like, someone's
can feel
beating
it.
her or something. And, like, Jack is, like, making her
You
feel
can.
good about
She's
herself.
definitely just with a guy that doesn't like her because she reacts when he gives her those gummy bears.
Right, like-
She
Yeah.
reacts.
Yeah.
And you know, because it is this crazy weird scene, but it is what is intensely like sad for him is like he's like I can't be around a girl my age.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
fucked.
He
That
says,
is sad.
she says,
It's very
she
sad,
says
'cause
she's
she wants-
an
he
old
wants-
lady.
yeah.
And he says, that's why I'm into you. And that hurts her so bad.
Yeah.
You're old like me, and
That's
she's
what
like, I don't look 40. That was her face.
He
What's
said,
her
you're older than me. He
face?
said, you look like I look. And she's like, no, Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, babe. This is, maybe it's Maybelline, but, hey, man, let's agree to disagree on this. And then he's like, all right, fuck, I got shot down, falls down the stairs. So,
Heart attack.
Oh, my gosh.
Heart
yeah, he had,
attack.
like, a heart attack.
And now he's got to be hooked up to monitors. And he's like, gets a real health scare. And it's like, fuck. Now he's back to square one almost, where he's like, I'm losing my hair. Our pets' heads are falling off. I'm fucking, I'm getting older. And it feels like it's happening quicker than it's supposed to be.
And it freaks the mom out.
Freaks the mom
It freaks
out.
the mom. I want to see the scene of the mom going to the school like, hey, you fuck my son. You don't give my son a heart attack.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
My son tries to fuck you.
By the
You
way,
fuck him.
yeah, that could have been what it was from. Yeah, maybe he got a heart attack from heartache or
No, it felt like, also, I guess he never felt, that's his first time experiencing real heartbreak, and he's 50.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's having a heart attack because it's like, damn, he's experiencing this level of,
Yeah, that level of anxiety and pain at that age.
at 10,
Yeah,
you're
the
really
first-
feeling it.
The first heartbreak, but at 50, I can't even. That would definitely give you a heart attack.
And just like any 50-year-old who has a heart attack caused by heartbreak, he's like, fuck it, I'm going to Mammary's to get a vodka soda and get on Luis's mom.
He does too.
Well,
He goes to Mammary's.
right when he's sneaking out, the fucking his mom and dad are having a fucked up conversation about how he's like, we need to have more kids, and she's like, I don't know, but he's like, yeah, but we need to have more kids.
He's like, I want more kids. And she's like, you look at our last one. Look at him.
Yeah.
He can't walk through a room without ducking his head. He's hearing this as he walks out.
Oh yeah, that's what made him go. Fuck this! I got
gotta
a
get
finite
some.
amount of time. I got to get some. I got to just do. And that's what's great too is you go. Like, that scene was fucked, but necessary because we needed to see Robin go like, fuck it. It's time to just YOLO it up.
Well, yeah, because if everyone's going to treat me like an adult and say I'm an adult and all this, well, I'm going to go do some adult shit.
Right.
If everyone's going to keep talking to me like this.
Brilliant, yeah.
Right.
So he goes there, and oh man, it's a classic dive bar. There's a lot going on in there. You've got
The drunk guy who immediately starts talking to you.
the drunk guy,
who just
Michael McKean.
Immediately.
I mean, great actor, hilarious in everything. And he's like, venting immediately. Like gets Jack drunk on shots of whiskey, and then it's like, you ever have a tough time getting it up? He's like, man, I was just with this one broad, limp as a noodle, couldn't get the train in the station. Wink, wink, boner.
And Jack's like, I like trains.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know what I'm talking about, brother.
Cherries.
And then Fran walks in. He's like, I bet you get crack at a walnut on her asshole. And you're like, Jesus
What
Christ.
the fuck does that mean?
Yeah.
And in the middle, he dropped in, yeah, my wife left me.
Yeah, well, that was assumed. Yeah.
That's also like just very funny, like how dudes when they're drunk almost go back to that 10-year-old drunken kind of
Yeah.
that 10-year-old mindset of
The penthouse. It's just basically penthouse again.
I just love that it works because any other situation and that guy would have been like, oh, there's something off about you.
Totally.
But he's 5 drinks in.
Yeah.
And he's just like, come on, he's alone.
He should have noticed.
Yeah.
He should have been like, man, you really like cherries, huh? You keep eating all the cherries, buddy. At some point, you've taken down like 30 of these things. You hungry?
Give him a glass of cherry.
Yeah, they gave him like a glass. He's just fucking eating. And the guy's just talking like.
That's how just open-minded like guys are at the bar too. He's just like, fuck it, man. Guy just likes his cherries, man. Who am I to judge, man? Hey, man. Sometimes I had 1 2-minute Triscuits. I don't fucking. I ain't looking for assessments.
That's how they meet in the first place. He orders a Shirley Temple, and the guy says you should order a Madonna. It's a Shirley Temple without the cherry.
Without the cherries.
Yep, yep.
And he goes, oh, he's just a cherry guy. Oh, okay.
Cherry guy.
Oh, cherry boy,
And And then in comes Fran Drescher right on cue, and she's wearing her fucking best outfit. I think it was what she was wearing earlier.
Everyone at the bar knows her. It lets you know what kind of girl she is.
It's like her
everyone at the bar knows her.
T-Birds outfit.
It is like because it's sort of like the Comedy Store because she works there, but also that's where she hangs out.
Damn.
Sounds like the
100%.
Comedy Store.
Yeah, because it's like that's he went there because that's where she works.
Yep.
But she's just there.
And she's putting on all the moves.
Yeah.
And then so is Robin. He's fucked up. He looks over, and then I love it. He just sees another guy starting to dance, so he does that. Then he puts the hand on the ass, just doing what I'm seeing a guy do who's my age.
Right.
And she's all about, oh my goodness, 2 hands on the butt.
She's saying, she's like narrating.
Yeah.
She moves his other hands and puts it on her butt.
She does.
She loved
does.
it. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
she's like, I really got a good feeling about you. And then just goes in for the kiss. And he does a hilarious Robin Williams kid kiss face and pulls back. And then she's like, what? And then she goes for it again. And then he's like,
Tongue out.
I gotta go home.
The tongue fucked him up.
The tongue fucked him up. It was
He goes,
too much.
I'm your son's principal. And she goes, that's the good thing.
Yeah. And then he bumps into a guy he'd bumped
That's a
into
good
earlier.
mom, though, man.
Sweet mom. Oh,
Fucking her way through the school to get her son an A.
It was very Sally Field and Forrest Gump of her. She, your mom really does care about your schooling, son. Yeah, so funny. So funny. So then he's like, he gets in the fight, the classic bar fight, bumps into him. You think you're pretty smart, huh? He's like, well, I do. I did pretty good in social studies. And then, and then
nobody ever stops to be like, man, this guy's saying some wild.
Oh yeah, he
stuff.
said, "You're a son of a bitch." Like, ooh, you cursed. You said the B word.
Yeah, and everyone at the bar laughs.
Yeah,
Did the exactly thing to him?
Did the exactly disease. Your butt tastes like your mouth and smells like your mouth, and then gets knocked the fuck out. And then he goes to jail.
Right. Yeah.
Which is, you're like, wow, this was the 90s where like they put the guy who punched Ann Jack in jail.
Yeah.
For just a fucking misdemeanor for public interference or what is it?
God, also imagine you're the cop who caressed him, right? And he's telling you like, no, I'm 10. I'm 10. And you're like, yeah, I bet you are.
Yeah.
Shut up. I'll give you 10 of these, you fucking idiot.
I'll give you 10. Yeah.
And then you find out later that he was 10.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a bad day for that guy. And then Cosby comes by and he's like, look, I'm out.
Well,
dude.
first there's that scene with Fran in the car.
Oh, yeah.
Fran bails him out.
Fran bails him out.
Out.
And that was huge, by the way.
Also, that means there's a court date.
Wow, you've been to jail.
Where's that
was a
scene?
scene on
Where's the court date?
It's on the cutting room floor, baby.
You know what? I'm 10. And they're like, all right, that's weird.
That scene's on the cutting room floor with the other alternate scene of Cosby drugging all the kids in the treehouse. And like waking up midnight and they're like, what are you doing? They're like, oh, did anybody need an extra blanket? And so Fran bails him out. Big time move.
Yeah.
Now we're like really like, all right, like she might be, trying to figure it out herself, fucking away around town, but she's like, fuck, I know you're gonna get in trouble. Oh wait, no, she doesn't. She has no idea that
She
he's
doesn't
fucking dead.
understand still.
She's just like,
still
She's so
doesn't.
stupid.
That's so funny because you're thinking, oh, she should obviously know that he's 10 by now.
Dude.
He was going, well, she should know. There's no way she doesn't know that he's 10.
During the drive home, he's looking out the window like a 10-year-old does after he gets in trouble.
Yeah.
He's just staring out the window,
and
she still fucking goes for it.
Well, during the fight, he says the exactly thing, and she goes, "Where did you hear that?"
No, she does. She goes, my son? She goes, Louis says that.
All
So it's
the
like, bitch, so you didn't pick that up, that he's using your son's insults?
Yeah.
So then he's depressed.
He is so
Super
depressed.
And the kids step it up, and what do?
Oh,
He grows a beard.
He grows a beard.
Well, he grows. Yeah, it's a sad time for.
Yeah, and then the kids, the kids, bro, it's so amazing
They were
what
at
the kids
lunch. They were at lunch.
Yeah.
They're like, is he dead? No.
do.
And then
Because the bully kids ask about
and then
it.
they're
Even the
like,
bully kids like get together with his friends, like, hey, what's going on here?
and then they're like, I miss him. And then they're like, yeah, we miss him too.
Yeah.
He made us.
This made me
better
tear up.
Made us feel better
yeah.
about ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where's the freak? Yeah. That's a great thing about kids, too. Eventually, they just miss the different,
Yeah.
And they're just like, where's that kid? He kind of made it fun to come to school and be like, dude, I wonder what he's going to wear today,
Yeah.
And so then.
Well, how big his penis would be the only question at school.
Also-
and that's the truth. If we're gonna be honest, at school, everyone would just be like, "Yo, how big? We gotta figure out how big his dick is."
He's got the dad dick.
Everyone would have to know.
Is it that big or is it our size? Yeah. And because you don't know anything.
But see, as a kid, you were right. That thought would be like, "We have to know." We have to know how big his dick is.
So that all the kids come by in full-on like COVID birthday party fashion. They're all just parading around the house. You know, can Jack come out and play? Where's Jack? And she's like, oh, I don't know.
It very much reminded me of Rudy. That one scene where they lay down all the
jerseys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's why I was crying, too. I was like, oh, it's Rudy
Heartfelt,
again.
I know. I got real choked up when, a couple times, when Cosby, when he was just like, when Robin Williams was just like, you can't quit. You can't quit. Like to Cosby, where he's just like, fuck, dude, come on, man. Like, I'm going to die soon. Like, you're the one constant in my life that's not... Because, you know, his parents are his parents, but even there, he, like we said, he hears these fucked up conversations of being like, I can't come on you again. We might make another weird.
and the dad's like, no, we'll make a normal one this time. And he's hearing all these. I promise the next one will be normal and right.
God, normal and right.
Dude, that's
The next one, God will love. God will love the next one.
He's pretty much saying all this. The next one will not be the reason we don't get invited to barbecues.
But that Cosby monologue, man.
That was one barbecue. I wanted to go.
It was only one and we were out of town. It's the fucking point of the invite. It was one barbecue. Wait, and so Cosby's monologue?
But that Cosby monologue between him and Robin is at the same level of Robin and Matt Damon in Good Will Hunting. I would put it at that level of emotional, of like him going like, you're a shining star, you know, and he's like, I just want to be a normal star, and he goes, but you're not, you're special.
And he says, you'll never be normal.
You'll never be normal. You're spectacular.
Woo,
and like
that line.
that is like Oscar-winning level monologue.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh, Cosby was great with that, man. I mean, the guy really nailed it. All right, so then kids do the project. Jack's like, I want to go back to school. I'm ready. I'm tired of feeling sorry for myself.
Yep.
I'm going. I don't know how much more time I got, but I know where I want to spend that time. Yep. And the kids are doing the project. And there's another part when I choked up, when I thought it was really beautifully done, too, with Luis being like, when I grow up, and I try to write as much of it down as I could, where he's like, I want to be like Jack when I grow up. I want to be the perfect grown-up. Because he's the perfect grown-up. He's still on the inside. He's a kid. He's not afraid to learn things, try things, meet new people. It's like he's looking at everything for the first time. Because he is. Most grown-ups aren't like that. Most grown-ups, they want to fuck my mom like Jack did. But
that's my boy.
That's my boy.
That's
my boy. And he fucking pretended to be the principal for me, and none of my other friends did that. A, because they didn't look like the principal, and B, because they didn't want to fucking make-believe. And so most adults want to go around and work and make money and show up for the neighbors. And not be like what Jack is, who knows how to be a great friend. And it was like, dude, fucking, it was just sweet. And the kid crushed it. I don't know how many takes they did, but he crushed it.
You know what else, dude? I said this to I was like, man, the most, because this wouldn't happen, but the craziest part is Jack walks in mid-speech, and he doesn't stop. Because normally you're giving this speech about this beautiful speech about your friend, and he walks in, and you'd be like, well, and he's a fucking faggot, you know, and he smells. Like, you would change it. Yeah. You would change. You'd be like, oh, bro, he's in the room now?
Yeah. Right. Heartfelt. And so then, and so it was sweet, and Jack comes in, and then he fucking falls over on purpose, right?
Yeah.
In the desk. Awesome. Leaning into it, being like, you guys accepted me, so now I'm going to give you some, like,
yeah.
I'm giving you the juice.
I give you the juice, man.
Now, you hit me with the razzle, I give you the dazzle.
Yeah, totally. Hilarious. And also let him know this is who I was all along. Like, so I'm glad you finally figured it out and decided not judge a book by its cover and let me be a part of the gang, because like I'll be the fucking comic relief all day long. I got 40 years on you. You don't think I've fucking seen Chappelle's show? Like, you know what I'm saying? You guys are still watching fucking Goof Troop and DuckTales, which is funny, but like, you know, I'm going to hit you with A material.
I'll hit you with A material, guys.
I'm a headliner in a host body, right? and so he, then we cut to 7 years. And now it's like, wow, dude. I was like, fuck, how old are they going to make him? And it's high school graduation, right? Yep. Mm-hmm. And you see all the kids, right? The grown-up girls, the fucking Rick Glassman Jr.
Dude, the casting?
Yeah.
For that
between
part especially,
the kids turning to like teenagers?
Did well.
Perfect.
Yeah,
it was perfect.
Disney casting always so good.
Because Disney, they have a a database where they know what every kid looks like?
I think they have.
Yeah.
I think they had Facebook before Facebook, where
Yeah.
they have photos of everyone. They're just looking. It's not just like who's an actor. They're looking at everyone, being like, "Fuck it, we'll make him a Disney actor.
We'll make him.
If they look like what we need, we'll make it work."
And they send their casting director into like that dome that Professor X had.
Yeah.
Where he's connected to all the kids.
Bro.
And he puts
Cerebro?
Cerebro. He's like,
Cerebro's the name of the
There.
casting agency.
Cerebro casting. It's just a fucking lady in a chair.
Oh man! So then they bring down Jack for the commencement speech, and he's like, "Life is fleeting. Make your life spectacular. Make a wish. Make a look at a star."
He's also shaking.
Yeah,
he has
dude.
little
He has
shakes.
Parkinson's. Yeah,
and at some point, Bill Cosby puts on shades in the background.
yeah.
He didn't want to cry in front of everybody.
Yeah.
That's what it
He
was.
was
He didn't want to get
laughing.
emotional.
No, but I love when he's saying his emotional speech, and he's like, everyone should love everyone. You never know how much time we have. They show Fran Drescher, and there's no way she's not, because she has a new man. I almost fucked. So I almost fucked. He's Louis' friend. It was 7 years ago.
Yeah.
He looked
We
a
were all
lot
different
younger
people.
then.
He looked younger then. Don't I mean?
He was way hotter.
It's like, how old was he?
No.
Oh, he was 10. But I mean, he looked 4.
That's why the boyfriend looked a little older, because she had to be like, "Oh, I gotta make up.
Yeah,
I almost fucked a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
I gotta fuck a 6-year-old now, just so people know. Hey,
Just to
I'm
right
not
the
that
wrong.
kind of girl."
But I love that Fran still wanted to let him know. Yeah, like, or she knew, she would have.
You knew, because she's the kind of person, she knows she's going to lean over and say that.
Yeah, and she went to Mammary's right after that.
She went back to
She's like, I get 20% off the smash burger.
I still always flirt with young Jackie.
Emphasis on smash. So then, life is fleeting. Jack goes, look up at the stars. When you see one, fucking make a wish. Think of me. And then he goes, I made it, Mom. I'm a grown up.
I made it, Mom. I'm a grown-up.
Bro,
Basically
that
being
fucked me
like,
up. Yeah.
I'm like, I survived this long, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because he's probably what?
18.
So that's what? So
No, he's
10
10,
and 40,
17. So he's 17.
so
17, 18, yeah.
7 years later. So that's what?
That's what.
So
he's
if 10
like,
is 40, 20 is 80.
Yeah.
So he's like,
he's like 64 or something like that. What, 17 times 4?
what is that?
Yeah.
That's 64, I believe.
Well, no, so 20 is 80.
I thought it was 4 for every year.
So he's like in his 60s to 80s.
I'll just do 17 times 4 on my phone right now.
Is that what it would be?
Why would
Yeah.
How do you know it's 17 times 4?
Because it's 4.
It was 4 every year.
He goes
34,
4 times.
yeah,
He goes
61?
4 times the rate.
So he's only 61?
I think he would be in his 80s.
That would make sense. Because if at 10 he's 40, 20 he's 80. Wouldn't
He'd have to-
17 be like 73 or something?
He'd have to be old as shit, man.
72.
I feel like he's
72
72.
times 4 is 68.
Okay.
68.
All
He
right.
was 68.
68. And holy shit, man. And so
And he's valedictorian.
he's like, I
Valedictorian, too,
yeah.
that's the best part.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, man, out of all the things you gave a shit about, it was interesting that you cared about grades.
Even if he was the worst student, they were like, fuck it. Dude.
yeah.
We are not going to be the school that messes this up. Like, we are making him president and
Also,
valedictorian.
I want to see his prom night, because there's one girl at his high school that's into older guys.
Oh, yeah.
And she's
well,
like,
Michelle.
yeah.
Michelle.
She's like,
She went for it.
I want grandpa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
That's
like,
something-
what's that?
Well, what if he was a hot guy?
Oh, and like in before in what he's like,
Like when he
Like
was
they
40.
cast like Brad Pitt to play a 40-year-old kid.
Man, that changes everything.
oh wow,
Yeah.
Because now all these 10-year-old girls want to fuck him.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I want to fuck you guys too. I'm 10. It's not weird. He's just like, yeah, of course I want to.
Yeah.
They're like, why are you fucking my daughter? He's like, what? Your daughter was fucking me. I'm 10.
bro. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's why. That's the only reason why it's not Brad Pitt.
And they were like, wait, but you made my daughter squirt. He's like, I'm 40.
Hey, man.
I know what I'm doing.
Hey,
I'm 10.
some people hop, some people scotch.
And the dad's like, you right, player.
My man.
That movie, that Roman Polanski would have had to direct it for that to be that. Yeah.
And so then the movie concludes, and as we wrap this up, Jack hops in a fucking convertible
Yep.
with his
With the
graduate
boys.
with the boys, and fucking they're like, "Come on, Jack, Mom, can I go?" or whatever, and he runs off or skips off and sits in the back, and
Jumps in.
and
It
now
takes a second, but he gets in there.
takes a second, gets in there, and then you're just like, well, now they're 17, and if they were fucking looking at penthouses and doing fart machine contests and eating fucking shit that is just, like these guys they might be driving to fucking what is it? Fucking Tijuana.
That's what I was
saying?
saying. I think so. Also, you're like, yo, our boy's about to die. He graduated. I can't believe he made it this long. Let's go crazy.
Oh,
tonight.
Right.
let's go take him somewhere where if he dies, it's all good.
It's awesome.
Like, everyone's going to be like, where were you? It's like, the donkey show? All right. Like, Jack, I don't know if Jack would have wanted to see that per se. And that's the mom saying that. And Dad's like, what are you talking about? You know how many times you want to see the carrot tits? Like, all right.
Like, what?
What? What's that? Oh, sorry. I thought you worked in an office. So then he drives off, and what are you thinking? What are your like lasting impression, or what are you thinking about when the drives off and then the movie ends and Bryan Adams starts singing again?
I think, like, man, this guy. I was like, wow. So he'll go maybe to college, maybe, and by the end of it he'll die, but he'll maybe get that experience.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. See, I don't think he goes to college. In my mind, he's just like he comes back with hanging with his friends. They go off his separate ways, and he just spends the rest of his whatever he has left with his parents.
Yeah.
And whoever stays in town.
Yeah. Tom?
Yeah. I think he tries college. I think he just goes as long as he can.
Yeah, because it's like, man,
If you're that age,
Would have been great to see that as a sequel or something, or like
I'd love to see that.
like just Jack in college now.
Like how they did with
22
Boy Meets
Jump Street.
World.
Or that, yeah.
Like when in Boy Meets World, they were all in college.
Or
Yes.
Saved by the Bell.
Saved
They
by
did
the
that.
college
years.
Yeah, college years, which I always liked. I enjoyed the college years.
Standing at the edge of tomorrow, and it's up to me how far I go. It's my time to break. Ooh, and then you had Mike Golick, the fucking
Mike Golick,
NFL
Mike
linebacker.
legendary linebacker, who was just in the show for no reason. And wasn't he Mike Golick in the show?
Yeah, like resident dorm regulator. Yeah, and everybody was fucking. It was cool, man. You were getting to see Zach really try to bang, and seeing Kelly and Slater being, a little amped up. I thought they were gonna make Screech a little weirder in the college years, but he was still full on Screech.
Yeah, he was just full on Screech.
I thought he was gonna somehow be like, "Yo, you guys need pills?"
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it does, right?
Yeah. In that waiting room.
But see, that's fun when it's Saved by the Bell. But if it's Jack, then like in season 2, you have to see him deal with early onset Alzheimer's or something.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
Early
you're right.
onset. Normal onset.
Normal onset. I think if it's on set, it's in time. Yeah, that's a.
Oh my God, I'm just thinking him walking.
Jack-
He's walking into the wrong classes and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah, you're right. It gets
funny.
bad sad
Jack,
quick.
you have a date. I do.
With a coffin.
So, are you Miss Marquez? And she's like, no, Jack, no, I'm your girlfriend.
Yeah, no. Remember, she got Trump kicked her out. I don't know.
Her and her anchor baby.
Yeah.
she did have a baby at the end with some vaguely Mexican.
And she also leaned over him and was like, yo, I almost fucked that guy. And Fran was like, me too, honey.
She
Oh,
ran
baby,
upstairs.
this almost happened.
Movie ends in a wide shot of Fran and J-Lo going like this. Oh, man. All right. That was a blast. Jack, we did it from start to finish.
Adam, come on. Guys, that was
Fully
fun. That was
recommend.
great.
Well done.
What a great time.
Well done.
We'll put everybody's handles up. And,
Handles. Can we say some dates real quick?
yeah, please. Plug what you got.
I'll go January 29th. Come see your boy San Antonio. I'll be at LOL 7:30. That's Sunday, January 29th. And then when does this come out?
This is Monday, right?
This will come out
Right?
next Monday.
I think so.
Yeah. So and then
Yeah.
February 4th.
February 4th.
Solid comedy.
show.
Me and Ehsan co-headline at the Vulcan Gas Company. We
Fuck
do it.
yeah.
Solid comedy February 4th. Come on out, guys. That'll be fun.
I'm going to be headlining the Blind Tiger in San Antonio, February 4th at 9 p.m. And then if you're in the Madison, Wisconsin area, I'm going to be in Janesville, Wisconsin, headlining February or March 3rd and March 4th. 4 shows come out to that.
And then I will be headlining Cap City on February 16th in the Red Room. So come on to that if you're in Austin.
Guys, go see everybody. Come see me this weekend in Baltimore at Magoobies, the 26th through the 28th, and then San Fran, Oxnard, Chicago, AdamRayComedy.com. Check out Spoil the Beans podcast. Follow everybody on the gram and TikTok. We'll put them all up here. So fun.
Very fun.
That was as always. Brother.
As advertised.
As advertised. It was so much fun. I
We
love you,
always
Adam.
pick the right movie. I love you guys. Laughed a lot. We'll see you guys. We'll see you guys when we see you. And also, if you take away anything from this movie, just ask yourself, did I laugh? Did I cry? Did I appreciate the acting? And as Tony said at the beginning of the pod, did it make my butt come? And if the answer is yes, you don't have to know why, but that means you enjoyed the movie. Good night, everybody.
Hey, another About Ass Night Spoil the Beans.